Hey there, folks. Welcome. Didn't have anybody jump into class today, so I'm just going to do a quick recording. I wanted to wait, 15 or 20 after just to make sure nobody showed up. But yeah, I'll probably do like a 25-minute video, something like that. Just going over our week 1 stuff about our new tune, Let It Be by the Beatles. Continuing our Beatles tour. It's a really fun song. Really excited to be doing this tune and all of these Beatle tunes we've been diving into. It's just such a deep well of knowledge to pull from. So anyway, welcome to week 1 of the month of June. We'll be working on this tune, starting to get into some finger picking and also some pretty basic chord shapes, but if you are willing to take on some of the challenges that are in the intermediate version, there's a couple of different ways to integrate melody and then also some alternate voicings for one of the chords. So let's see, where do we start today? Maybe let's start with our song sheet. Obviously this information is not available and updated on the website. I apologize about the delay. I have had an insane couple of weeks, just completely full, and fell behind on all of my material prep, all of those things. I just want you to know materials are actually completed. They just haven't been turned around. So look for either today or tomorrow for the website to be updated and reflected. The month of January, February, March, April, May. Month of May will move to last month's review, and the new materials will be live for June. But obviously all the links for our classes are the same. So let's take a look at chord progression first. You can see chord-wise we're not looking at too much. It's a C chord, a G chord, A minor, F, and if you look at the next rotation of chords, really what we're doing is just kind of reconfiguring all of those chords that we've already played. Whisper words of G, let it be, F, and then C. And then when we get to the chorus, same thing. No new chord shapes present, but we've got A minor, let it be, G, let it be, F, and let it be. And then we go, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Now one thing I want you to pay special attention to here when we are thinking about all of the things we need to memorize for our left hand skill sets, obviously only 4 chords that we need to memorize, but these are longer progressions, right? One thing that I want to point out is that these 2 endings are the same. So in the verse and in the chorus, you're always ending with this group of chords. So that can be helpful when trying to do your memorization. Cool. So we've got those for our chord progressions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the handout for beginner. And we'll start taking a look at rhythm, okay? So we've got those 4 chords. Again, not too much challenge. The one thing I want you to pay attention to is that the G chord is kind of a 3-finger chord. So if you have a little bit of challenge with that chord shape, then you might want to work on it. Now, one thing I want to point out is that a suggestion that I make a lot of times is when you're moving from a G chord to an A minor like this, I would probably suggest moving to an A minor more like this, middle finger, because oftentimes you're moving from an A minor to an F. So rather than go with pointer finger here and then have to switch 2, you can add the middle finger here and then add the pointer finger to make that F chord, right? Okay, cool. Let's try some of those chord shapes. And remember, we only have 4 to know. We'll do it with this sheet up, and then we'll go to our left hand. 2, 3 whole notes. Let's go C, 2, 3. Let's go G. Here we go. 2, 3. Let's go A minor. 2, 3, and then show me F. 2. Let's go close up for 1 rotation. C, 2, 3. Show me G again. Beautiful. Show me A minor, and then show me F. Now, one thing that you always want to pay attention to is transformation. One of the things I like about this shift from C to a G chord is that if I use my ring finger to play the 3 here, now watch, my middle finger is already over the 2nd fret. So maybe your first transition or your first movement can be lifting the ring, putting the middle down. Once my middle finger is there, I can add the pointer finger to the same fret, but 1 string up. And then it leaves this little gap. See this E string open here, and then you can go put your ring finger on 1 fret higher on the 3rd fret to complete that G chord shape. So when I'm thinking about transformation, maybe my first movement, my pivot point into the new chord is my middle finger, 2nd fret, and then I can add those other fingers to make the chord. Let's try a few just focus rotations on C to G. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, middle finger down, add the pointer, and then add the ring. Now drop the ring down to the C string, and then we put our middle finger down, pointer, add the ring. 2 more times, and C, 2, 3, 4, and G. Last time. Here we go, and C, 2, 3. Now we move to G. Beautiful. Nicely done. Okay, cool. Now we'll go to our little rhythmic section. There are really 2 rhythms that happen in this tune. One is a finger picking pattern that we're going to be using for the intro. Let me go ahead and just play that for you. So before the tune starts, what we're going to do is we're going to play this intro riff section. And technically it's not called intro riff. That's going to be edited. It's not going to be intro riff. It's going to be intro. And so what we're doing is we're taking this chord progression that we use for the verse, and we are, let me switch one thing, and this chord progression we play for the verse, and we're just doing it in a different picking pattern. Now for the beginner arrangement, we're not going to be, we're actually going to be playing a different rhythm. So we're going to be doing this picking pattern that looks like this: C, E, G, A. That's it, C, E, G, A. So I'm using my thumb on the C string, pointer on the E, thumb on the G, middle on the A. Inside, outside is another way to think about it. So let's see if we can try that rotation of that picking pattern, and then we'll throw up the visual just to get a little bit of our picture connected to what our fingers are doing. 2, 3, 4. C, E, G, A. C, E, G, A. C, E, G, A. C, E, G. C, E, G, A, C, E, G, A, just like that. Make sure you are working on that picking pattern quite a bit. Make sure that that is becoming, how do I want to say it? It's becoming familiar. It's becoming comfortable. It's becoming confident. So I'm actually altering something. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this on screen so you know what I'm doing. There's a little bit of an editing mistake here that I haven't had a chance to catch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. Oh, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these picking patterns, and we're not playing them as 8th notes. We're actually playing them as quarter notes. So that is why I'm moving these right now. So this is going to go to 4 like this. This is going to go to 3 like this. You'll know why I'm doing this and what I mean when you start to hear both of these rhythms, especially back to back. So what I'm playing here is on the downbeats of each of these counts in the rhythm. We're going to be playing each of those individual strings. C, E, G, then A. Cool? One more time. Sounds like. All right, let's go ahead and play that picking pattern again, and then we'll see if we can add some left hand chord shapes. Okay, sounds like this. 1, 2, ready, here we go. C, E, G, A. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, E, G, A, C. Let's try and add some chords. Show me a C. Show me a G. Show me A minor. Show me F. Beautiful. C, G, C. Cool. So what I was playing there was the beginning chord progression. I was playing the verse progression. But when we play it the first time with this picking pattern, what we're playing is the intro for the tune. Remember, the intro for the tune is just one rotation of the verse progression. We play it with that picking pattern or rhythm, and then we're going to be jumping into the verse where we're going to be changing rhythms but not chord progressions. So let's go ahead and go back to those chord progressions one more time. Go ahead and show them here. Let's see if we can do them as whole notes first, and then we'll try them with that picking pattern we we're just working on. 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, A minor, 2, 3, then F, 2, 3, then C, 2, 3, then G, then to F, and then to C. I'm going to go to the picking pattern. If you want, you can stay on the whole notes. G, A minor, F, speaking words of G, let it be, and then to the C chord. Beautiful. Now here I would jump into the verse part of the progression, which is, singing those vocal lines I was just accidentally singing while I was playing that picking pattern for the intro. So remember, our intro is just one rotation of the verse before we go into the rhythm that we're going to be using throughout the tune and singing the words over it. Make sense? Cool. All right, let's check out our second rhythm for the beginner piece. We're looking at this one below. Now this is really straightforward and simple, but one of the things you want to think about is that your quality, or at least your consistency, is really starting to get strong as we're learning this rhythm. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to alternate between a down strum and then playing with our thumb on the G string. So on beat 1 we play down, on beat 2 we play a ghost note basically. And what I mean by ghost note is that what we're doing is substituting where normally there would be a down strum, 1, 2, 3, and we're kind of doing a lighter down strum, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see when I strum with my pointer finger, I'm kind of shooting that finger out, and then my thumb is going to grab for the string, and you notice this is mostly in the muscles of my thumb. It's not I'm using my wrist like I did on my down strum. Most of the time when we're strumming down, what we do is we lift with our arm, we turn with our wrist, and then we do that little snap there. When I'm grabbing for a ghost note with my thumb, you see my hand is more still. It's more solid, right? So try alternating between those. Go down strum, grab at the G string. 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 Just like this. So really this is going to be the consistent pattern that happens throughout the tune, right? When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, right? Even in the chorus, we're going to use that same rhythm, right? Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, right? Always using that rhythmic pattern for the majority of the tune, and the only time we use the other one is just for the intro. Make sense? All right, cool. I'm actually going to have the chord progressions on visual here, so we can move kind of freely between the verse and the chorus. So let's give it a try. Remember, our rhythm sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. All right, let's start with our first progression. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. When I find myself in G, chimes of trouble, A minor, Mother Mary, F comes to me, speaking words of G, wisdom, let it be, and then back to C. Let's repeat. He is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let's go to the chorus. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. And remember, we end the chorus the same way. Whisper words, C, G, and then F, let it be. So, important thing to note about when memorizing these chord progressions, remember, you're kind of cutting out a quarter of your work if you realize you're always ending your progressions, be it the verse or the chorus, the same way. C, G, F, and C. Cool. Actually, I noticed something there that I didn't point out talking about the chord progressions, is that when we're looking at these chord progressions, always remember these little sideways faces. These guys are repeat symbols. So when we play the verse, we're always repeating it. We always rotate through this chord progression 2 times, right? When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. right? And in my hour of darkness. So every verse is double the length of that chord progression. Now, when you look at the chorus, you kind of see the same symbols, but you see that they're in red, and then you also see chorus 2 and chorus 3 following them. So what that means is that the first time I play the chorus, which is here, chorus 1, we're only going to rotate through that whole chorus one time. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And then straight into verse 2. When the brokenhearted, you notice there wasn't a double there. But when we get down to chorus 2, you can even see it in the number of lines, right? Instead of 2 lines, what we've got is 4 lines. So chorus 2, and then if you scroll down to here, which I didn't label, that should actually say chorus 3. So I'll make a little edit on the sheet, update that. Here in chorus 3, it's the same length as chorus 2, right? 4 lines, which means that I am going to double that chord progression. So these repeat symbols, make sure that on the first one you ignore them, right? And then on chorus 2 and on chorus 3, you're actually going to follow those repeat symbols. Make sense? Pretty straightforward. The song itself is not actually that difficult. What's difficult is these little moments that we're going to be interjecting some melodic phrases. And in week 2, I might start to get into it today. We'll see. I only got about 7 minutes left for this recording, but really you have kind of all the basic information you need. You can play the intro with the picking pattern we worked on, C, E, G, A, right? You don't have to memorize a whole new chord progression. You're actually just going to follow the chord progression for the verse. And then our second rhythm, or kind of our only other rhythm that we're going to be playing throughout the verse and the chorus of the tune, is going to be. Now what you'll notice is that this is actually the same rhythmic pattern, right? It's happening 1, 2, 3, 4. Only difference is the vocabulary we're using, right? Instead of playing C, E, G, A, we're playing down, G, or down, ghost, note, right? Now when we go into this intro, there's only one little switch here, okay? So when I play, fine. This intro, here's my F. Now I want you to listen for it. Sounds like this. Did you hear it? Very, very fast move. All right, one more time, F. So what I'm doing is I'm substituting the last 2 strings that I would do the picking pattern, and I'm placing melodic notes in them. Cool? So I want everybody to play an F chord just like this. Now with this F chord, I want you to try something. Playing the E string. Right here, what I'm playing is the first fret on the E string. My thumb is playing that E string. Now see if you can take that pointer finger and lift it. So there what I'm doing is playing the same string, but I'm lowering the fret by a half step. I'm going from 1 to 0, right? Now I want you to take your ring finger and see if you can tuck it underneath your middle to play the second fret on the C string. Cool? So those are the 2 notes that you're going to substitute the picking pattern for. You're playing C, E, G, A. When you get to the F chord, the last F chord in the chord progression, what you're going to play is C, E. The first 2 picks in the picking pattern, C, E, or inside. Now watch. I'm going to pick up my pointer finger, play E again. I'm going to put my ring finger down and then play the C string before I go into the C chord to do my picking pattern. One more time. Here's the F chord. I play C, E, E0, 2 C string, and then the picking pattern on the C chord, right? So that's that little kind of imitating that walk down from the F chord down to the root, right? That's what we're trying to simulate, is that little movement that you hear in the recording, the piano line sort of walking down towards that root chord. So remember, what we're doing in the F chord is playing C, E. We're lifting the pointer finger, playing E, adding the ring finger to the second fret, the C string, and playing the C, and then we're switching to the C chord. Let's see if we can make that sequence happen, okay? We're going to play F, that move, and then go to the C chord. one rotation of the picking pattern, and then we'll try it again. Sounds like this. 2, 3, F, C, E, 0, 2 C string, and then C, E, G, A. Let's try again. F chord, C, E, 0, 2, and then to the C chord, C, E, G, A. Now remember, where that happens in the introduction is at the very end of the chord progression. G, A minor, then F. Now here is where it happens. C to G, right here is the F chord. Watch. F, 0 E, 2 C, and then back to the C chord. Happens one moment, very, very slight twist on what we do in that F chord. But remember, work the transitions themselves. That way they don't feel quite as awkward or surprising when you hit them. Cool? So let's try the whole chord progression. C, G, A minor, F, and then we'll get into the second half where we do that little addition. Here's our intro. 2, 3, 4, C, E, G, A. G chord. Now go to A minor. Now go to F. Now go C. Now G. Our next move is where we do it. Here's our F. We play C, E, 0 E, 2 C, and then back to the picking pattern for a C chord. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the verse for our second rhythm and play through verse 1 to chorus. 2, 3. When I find myself in G, times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Nice. And then next line. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. And then we go into the chorus. I'm just making a kind of on-the-fly edit because I realize that this is incorrect. This is not supposed to be C. This is supposed to be F. So I'll correct that as well. Cool. And let's go into that chorus. And remember, on the first rotation of the chorus, ignore the repeat brackets. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. So the only thing you need to note is that on chorus 2 and chorus 3, you're going to double the length of that chord progression, right? You're going to follow those repeat brackets. Cool? So remember, in terms of what we need to know the chord progression. Our verses C, G, A minor, F. And then we're always ending with this sort of finishing. C, G, F, and C. Our chorus progression, let it be. A minor, let it be. F, let it be, let it be. And then we're always ending with whisper words of C, G, F, and C. Let it be. And then our two rhythms, the first one is we're going to use for the intro for those first 8 measures. C, E, G, A. Now with the exact same kind of rhythmic pattern, we're just going to trade it up for downs and ghost notes, or the G string. So it sounds like this. We trade. It's just down and thumb. All right, in terms of content, that's what I wanted to deliver here for week 1. Remember, your job is left hand. Know those progressions, know those transformations between the chords. And then for the right hand, know the rhythms that you need to know. In this case, we need to know 2. So make sure you're locking those in. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, you can start to work on that little transition in the F in our intro feature. Again, it's not absolutely necessary you play it like that. It would sound totally fine if you just play the picking pattern and then go to the C chord, right? It can totally work that way. It's just a nice little interjection, a little bit of a challenge to follow that bass movement that you hear in the original recording. All right, team, thanks for joining me. Thanks for your time and effort, as always, in Uke Lab. This recording will be up tonight, and you can check it out. I don't think there's anything funky going on in the calendar with scheduling. Let me double check. yeah, we're going to be meeting for the next consecutive weeks, the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. Please do let me know if you have any questions, and we will see you next week. Fare thee well.